Abby Johnson, some of you know her. She was a manager of a Planned Parenthood clinic in Texas. Her conversion came when she saw it on ultrasound. Said, no. Well, I know what we're doing here. We're killing people. This is crazy. She has since joined the other side now and become a very active. I've seen her speak locally. She's a very, very powerful speaker. So that is what's happening now. The science that Ian Donald introduced, the science that came out of the scientific establishment that Christendom created and sustained for 8, 9 centuries, is beginning to work for us and against them. Now, the pro-science forces are not so sure they're pro-science. They're selectively pro-science. Now, what I want to do is get back to the whole anti-science movement in 2006 and tell you what happened to the players involved. Lance Armstrong went on to pioneer new sciences of his own, including blood doping and human hormone growth, was stripped of all of his medals and banned from competitive cycling ever again. Go science. Acorn, so thoroughly corrupt, so transparently corrupt, that the whole 100,000-person organization in 50 states was busted by a 20-year-old girl dressed as a prostitute and a 24-year-old boy dressed as a pimp. I've gotten to know them, by the way, so it's a great story. James O'Keefe, who was the pimp in question, the chinchilla code, he brought the whole organization down. It was defunded within 6 months once they infiltrated their storefronts and started showing the just savage corruptionists, just relentless, reckless corruptionists, people, because no one in the media had dared to call their bluff. And they also were working in cahoots with Planned Parenthood, not surprisingly. O'Keefe had gotten his first taste of this, the underground video cameras, when he and Lila Rose infiltrated the Los Angeles Planned Parenthood clinics and exposed them for what they were doing. Oh, 15, 16, don't tell anyone, everything's okay. They were getting that everywhere. Or when O'Keefe called clinics all across the country saying, listen, I think there's too many black babies in this world. I want to donate to Planned Parenthood. Okay, sure, we'll take your money. Yeah, we can do that. That's Planned Parenthood. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a eugenicist. She was to the Genghis Khan side of Adolf Hitler. In Nazi Germany, all they wanted to do, they're eugenicists also, but the Nazi version was the fit women should outbreed the unfit. They should have more children than the unfit. The Margaret Sanger version, and she's the founder of Planned Parenthood, was that the fit woman shouldn't have to have any more children than is convenient for them, so we're going to see to it that the unfit don't breed at all. This resulted in the 1927 decision, Buck versus Bell, which every progressive in the country was in favor of, which banned a woman in Virginia from having children because she wasn't smart enough. Supreme Court decision. The same Supreme Court that gave us Roe versus Wade. And then they'll say you're quoting Margaret Sanger out of context. No! Her life is all context. You can't turn a page without finding her talking about the stunted, dehumanized army of dwarfs and retarded people who are trying to take over the country. She hated philanthropy for sustaining these people in their lives. She hated the Catholic Church because it offered support and solace to the poor and to the struggling. She was a monster. She was the president and founder of Planned Parenthood. And they still honor her, which is astonishing, but that's the way it is. Michael J. Fox, in May, finally says, you know about embryonic stem cell research? We've had, quote, problems along the way. His foundation abandoned it and moved on to adult stem cell research under the curtain. Chris Mooney, the fellow I debated with, he got on the global warming bandwagon, and he was so impressed by Hurricane Katrina, he decided that every year now we would see a rash of major Category 5 hurricanes, Category 4 hurricanes, and he wrote a book called Storm World. We haven't had one since, so much for the science of global warming. And he has been on The Daily Show in the last 7 years, so nonetheless. Cora McCaskill, She championed the godless science of Obamacare in her first term in the Senate, and with all its intended insults to religious freedom, which came as a surprise even to some of us who did not believe they would go that far, but they did. And she's up for re-election. She's running against a person who is the only political figure to show up in the documentary we produced 3 years ago called 9 Eyes. It's a documentary about the March for Life in Washington. The one political figure we talked to in the interview, and that was Don Aiken. So. For a month from today, I think literally 1 month from today, we have the opportunity to turn that senator out to pasture and put Obamacare to bed for good, and we will do that. And here's why I know we will do that. By the way, I called the debate a long time ago. What happened Wednesday night? I told everyone not to worry because what would happen happened. I had some insight into Barack Obama. Wrote a book on it. I knew that he'd been faking it for the last 4 years and got caught. But here's why we're going to win in November. Why we're going to put Obamacare to bed. Why we're going to send Claire McCaskill back to St. Louis or the Cayman Islands, wherever she goes next. We'll win because every person in this room will vote. Everyone. We'll win because you will get your children out to vote. And even if you have to threaten to throw them out of the basement, you will get them to the polls. Right off at dinner. I have a daughter who's sort of a bohemian, voted for Obama 4 years ago. And my wife said the other day, we got our voter registration card. Let's just not tell her we have it. She'd move. We're not. My other daughter, by the way, is the daughter of who's the mother of my child here, my grandchild, is on the right side of this issue. So. You'll get your parents to vote if you're younger. If you're older parents, if they're elderly or shut-ins, you'll get them an absentee ballot. You'll get them to vote. If you're on Facebook, how many of you are on Facebook? Okay, you should all be on Facebook. I'm sorry, it's my best vehicle I have 1,700 friends, and I hit them with a message every day. There's not a day that goes by. I get a little jab. I know Jacob is very good on that also. You'll spread the message every time you get the opportunity. Get out and vote. And you'll be obnoxious about it if you have to be, I mean, sometimes maybe you have to be obnoxious, especially with the weak-willed and weak-minded. Well, we'll win because our deceased will vote. We'll register them in Chicago this week.
Oh no, that's on tape.
And they'll turn Illinois in our favor. But finally, though, we'll win because we have God on our side. And for their religion, all they have is science. Thank you.